Hello, we're here to debate.
Yes, sir.
All right. What's your name, age, and pronouns?
Raiden, 18, he, him.
Raiden, 18, he, him. Okay, Raiden, what topic are you here to debate about?
Let's go. Pro-choice.
Okay. Do you agree with the pro-choice stance?
No.
Okay, and why not?
Because I feel like it is not right to be able to just wait to get an abortion when it has a living heartbeat and that is considered a living human being.
Okay, so you're making the claim that killing living human beings is morally wrong?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because you're not even giving a chance for an unborn life to live.
Okay, let me ask you that just sort of repeated the thing, right? You're saying killing it is wrong because you killed it, right? That was sort of a circle. Let me ask you a different question. Is it always wrong in all circumstances to kill another human being?
No.
Okay, so there are circumstances where killing another human is justified.
I will say if you have been raped or anything along those lines, or it is a direct threat to the mother, then it's okay. But other than that, no.
Okay, before we get to that, right, and we'll get to that, just can you answer this question? Are there moments where killing another human being is justified?
Yes.
Okay, great. Beautiful. Love that. Next question I have for you is, you said that now that we know that killing some human beings is justified, why is it that killing a fetus is not a justifiable action? What is it about the fetus that makes killing this creature not justified?
Because they haven't even been given the chance to live yet.
Why does being given the chance to live matter when it comes to the justification of killing any being?
Because they haven't done anything wrong.
Okay, so the claim is that they are innocent, and therefore, because they are innocent, it is unjustified to kill them.
Yes.
You did, however, say that if somebody is raped, they can have an abortion. What change? The fetus is still innocent here. So are we just special pleading with the innocent factor? The fetus doesn't magically become uninnocent when somebody's been raped, right? Or they're a product of incest, right?
I mean, even then, though, you don't have to wait until 9 months to get it. You can make that decision before.
Sure, 93% of all abortions in the United States happen within the first trimester. So people genuinely aren't waiting. Specifically, it's before 13 weeks.
Typically, I think it should be before the first 6 weeks, before there's even a heartbeat.
Well, some people don't know they're pregnant within the first 6 weeks. So what do they do? But none of this. You
start to get symptoms in the first couple of weeks. It doesn't take.
Some people do. Some people get symptoms. Have you ever heard of an ecryptic pregnancy?
A what?
A cryptic pregnancy.
I have not.
Okay. A cryptic pregnancy is when somebody is pregnant and they don't know they're pregnant. They literally give birth and they never knew they were pregnant.
I mean, yeah, that you can't really do anything about. I do agree with that.
Sure, I'm just saying the claim that it's 100% certain that people know within the first 6 weeks is just not true. Right? Some people can spot, they can have spotting early on in a pregnancy that mimics a period. So they don't even know that they've missed a period.
Okay, but I feel like in the case of you talking about being raped and stuff, I feel like if you've been raped, you know the risk, so why don't you just take a pregnancy test? Why do you wait?
Okay, but the question isn't about the waiting, it's about the justification. Right? You've made the claim that the reason why abortion is not justified is because the fetus is innocent. However, in cases of rape and incest where the fetus is still innocent, you say that abortion is justified then. So the innocence of the fetus isn't actually the justification for why abortion is wrong.
I mean, do I disagree that I think there's been like many times where the mother's been raped and she still keeps the baby and she's happy?
Sure,
do I think
but we're
it's
not talking
necessarily
about
the option?
we're not making a value claim.
No,
We're not, but really quickly, Raiden, I'm not making a value claim on like the fetus as a whole. The value claim would come to the fetus, to the person who's pregnant. So some people place moral value on their fetuses, even if they were born out of rape or incest, right? But that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about the moral justification for ending a life and whether or not there is moral justification when it comes to abortion. And your claim is there is no moral justification to end a life in terms of abortion because those lives are innocent. But I'm pointing out to you that even in cases where those lives are still innocent, you still believe there's a moral justification to end those lives. So the innocence isn't the justification here. It's got to be, there's something else.
I mean, yes, I do see your point on that.
Okay. So if we know it's not about the fetus being innocent, what is the actual reason why anybody shouldn't be allowed to have an abortion? If it's not about the fetus being innocent, what's it actually about?
Because you make the decision to do the stuff that could get you pregnant. Like, if you're making those decisions, you know the risk that comes out of it.
Okay, so the reason you believe that you shouldn't be allowed to have an abortion is because you believe if somebody had sex that they should be forced to deal with whatever the consequences of that sex might be, one of those consequences being pregnancy.
Yes.
Okay. And this is logically consistent with your other claim that rape and incest should be justified allowances, right? Because in this claim, you're saying that if you made a conscious decision, if you consciously did action A, you are now consenting to outcome A, for example. Would that be a correct restatement of your position?
Yes.
Okay, great. Do you believe this in all cases, or is this a special plead for this specific cases? Do you believe that anyone who engages in any action A, is now consenting to any outcome of said action? So this could be outcome A, B, C, or D.
Yes.
Okay. If a woman goes on a blind date, right? She's going on a blind date with somebody she's never met before. This would be action A, correct?
Yep.
So if she gets raped on that blind date, this would be outcome A. Because she consented to the action, did she consent to that outcome?
But she didn't consent to be raped.
No, but you said that consenting to an action, hold on, just to go back over what we said. You said consenting to action A is consenting to all of the outcomes of said action. And this would be her getting assaulted on that date is a possible outcome of the action of going on that date.
But that's not, I wasn't saying her consenting to a date and getting raped means she can't. That still falls under the category of her getting raped.
I agree with you here that consenting to going on a date is not consent to every outcome of said date. Just like consenting to getting in a car and driving is not consent to every outcome of said thing, right? Because that's not how consent works. You don't consent to outcomes. You just acknowledge that there is a risk of outcomes. So when we bring this back to abortion, consent to sex is not you consenting to pregnancy. It's you acknowledging the risk of pregnancy. So if you're not consenting to the pregnancy, why should the abortion not be allowed?
I mean, if you are consensually having sex and you know the risk, like, that's a risk that comes with it, and you have to live with that choice.
Okay, let's just ask this again. If you are consenting to an action, this would be action A. are you consenting to living with all of the potential risks that come with all of the potential outcomes from engaging in action A?
Yes.
Okay, then you agree that somebody who goes on a blind date is consenting to getting raped because they are consenting to everything. Consent is vastly different from an acknowledgement. Consent means you are allowing this to take place, right? So you're saying that somebody who's consented to an action is consenting to all of the outcomes of said action, which means consenting to a blind date, as an example, is consent to being assaulted on that date, or consent to driving is consent to getting into an accident, or consent to going skydiving is consent to your parachute not opening.
I mean, I would say so because, I mean, I feel like you've acknowledged those risks and you've proceeded with it, so therefore you're consenting to it.
Okay. Do you understand the difference between consenting to something and acknowledging that something might happen?
Yes.
Okay. What are the differences between those two things?
I mean, I can acknowledge something and like, oh yeah, that could happen, whatever. And just, that's like knowing your risks, whereas like consenting to it is moving, like you're moving forward with it and you're saying it's okay.
Okay. So you would agree that, or I would hope you would agree, that when you have sex, you are acknowledging a bunch of things that could happen as a result of said sex, but you're not necessarily agreeing for those things to happen to you. You're acknowledging that they may, but you're not giving an affirmative agreement that they will or that you want them to.
Then why what's the purpose of doing that and then having an accident and then being like, oh, I'm gonna get an abortion because it's okay? Like,
well, because
that's where I think everything is so skewed, is because it's like you can do this and be like, oh, whoops, I made a mistake. It's okay.
Yeah, let me break it down for you. When it comes to consent, I agree you must consent to pregnancy or consent to sex. You must consent to sex, right?
Yes, I do agree with that.
Sex is an agreement between two sentient beings for something to happen. Let's say you get pregnant. Well, now we're in a pass here where consent to, as a general rule of thumb, me consenting to one action is not me consenting to multiple actions thereafter, as like a general rule of thumb. If I consent to driving, I'm not now also consenting to getting into a street race, right? So consenting to the sex is different than consenting to the pregnancy. Now, the only time that you can consent to a pregnancy is when you find out you're pregnant. Once you find out you're pregnant, now there becomes a level of consent here. Now, do you know one of the key tenets of consent is that you must be able to revoke that consent at any time?
Okay.
So if I'm consenting to being pregnant, right, that consent must be revocable. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not consent, it's force. And I think you would agree that forcing people to stay pregnant is probably a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we're going to just look at a basic level of human freedom, you must be able to revoke that consent. So if we agree that you have to agree to be pregnant and you have to consistently agree to be pregnant, then we also agree that you must be able to revoke that agreement to be pregnant at any time.
To an extent.
What's the extent? At what point are you no longer allowed to revoke consent?
Like, see, that's again, like, I feel like I could agree that I feel like up past the first trimester, I feel like abortion should not happen.
Okay. We can get into the weeds of like, of the trimesters and all of that. But my big question to you though, is you're telling me there hits a point where somebody is no longer allowed to revoke consent What is that? What is the justification for this? That at this point in time, you can no longer revoke consent. You've gone from because I agree. First trimester abortions are probably the ones we want to strive for, but now you're making the claim that at some point you can no longer revoke your consent. It has now become a forced thing. So what is the justification for the force after the first trimester?
It's not being forceful. You made the choice to get pregnant in the first place, and now all of a sudden you don't want to. Like,
yeah, but we've already wait. We've already agreed that consent must be revocable. It doesn't matter the reason why. You wouldn't look at somebody who you're having sex with and go, well, you can't tell me to get off now because you said that you wanted to do it in the first place, right? That's not how consent works. You have to be able to revoke your consent for any reason. Otherwise, it is not consent. It is force. And when we look at the way pregnancy works, the UN classifies forced pregnancy as literal torture, right? So what is the justification for revoking the ability to consent from somebody between the first and second trimester?
I mean, I guess there isn't necessarily a justification except moral purposes.
Okay, so you're saying that the justification is just intuition, right? It's not, there's no justification grounded in some sort of logical principle. It's just that you're going, well, intuitively it feels wrong to have an abortion in the second trimester.
Yes.
Okay, why does that feel wrong? Analyze those intuitions for a second.
What?
I just want you to analyze those intuitions for a second.
I don't know. I just feel like you wait that long, and it's just because the longer you wait, the more brutal and just I guess going back to that just the abortions become more brutal and this and that, and it's just becoming more and more inhumane.
Okay. Why does the brutality of the abortion matter?
So I'm gonna ask you this:
before you do, let me just tell you, you're on a good path of deconstruction right now, and we're getting somewhere really good here. I'll let you ask your question. I'm just telling you, the reason I'm asking these questions is because there is a very good logical path we're working down that's going to lead to hopefully an epiphany for you at the end of this conversation. But you can go ahead and ask your question.
You went back and saying, is there justification in killing people? And my question to you though is it okay just to cut people up into pieces because you are no longer okay with your decision?
Well, I would say it depends on what we're defining as people. But yes, it is sometimes okay to cut human beings up into pieces. I mean, we have cadavers that we use for medical science, right? If we're going to talk about the way we kill something, I think there is justification here in some instances in how we kill stuff, right? Right now you're saying, hey, the brutality of the way we kill this creature matters. And I'm just asking you to to tell me why. Why does it matter? Let's say we have a fetus, okay? And it can be whatever time in the womb you want it to be. Why does it matter if I kill it with a quick flip a switch and it's dead, or I cut it up into pieces and toss it to a dumpster? What is the reason one of these you think is morally wrong while the other you don't have as much moral objection to?
I mean, I honestly just think it has to do with just the brutality of it, because it's just it's no different than someone who commits murder.
Sure, but we know it's about the brutality, right? Because you're saying the brutality is bad because it's brutal, right? I want to know why the brutality is, why brutal the brutal killing is bad. Like, why? Not just because it is, right? We know that it is.
It's sickening. It's sickening to listen to and like hear about, because it's just like, it's such a grisly way of killing somebody, and it's just like, for what purpose?
Okay, so let me try to walk you through the thought train here. Okay, I agree that there are instances where brutally killing people is very bad, right? I agree that there are instances where just killing people in general is morally wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
When we look at why killing is wrong, my answer is never going to be killing is wrong because it just is. What I'm going to look at is what is happening. What is the change in form that humans go through when they die? And the change in form that I think is the most important is the brain death. Your brain dying is the most important thing that happens in death. This is why we consider brain dead patients whose bodies may still be functioning to be functionally dead. Because the part that is valuable, the brain, the mind, the consciousness, the some people will interpret it as a soul, that part is gone, right? So when I see this, I now look at, okay, so this piece is the piece that places some level of moral value on us. It's that brain.
Yeah.
So when I look at abortion, I look at, okay, when does a brain development turn you into a person? When does that personhood come into question? I would say personhood starts as sentience. Sentience is the ability to experience the world around you. It's the ability to take in sensory information into the brain. Sentience is more important than consciousness. People aren't even really conscious for like the first couple weeks of life. So sentience is something that all like living creatures have to an extent, and humans become sentient around 24 weeks. So 24 weeks, give or take, could be as early as 22, could be as late as 27, but around 24 weeks, give or take, is when humans essentially become sentient. So I can agree with you and say, hey, abortions past this level that kill the fetus, I can agree are morally bad. Because the thing that I place moral value to is the sentience. Now, there's a whole other question about the justification, which we'll get to. But I can then look and say, okay, well, at 24 weeks, the beauty of human development is you're also typically going to be able to maintain homeostasis at that time. So now I'm seeing, okay, the fetus at 24 weeks not only develops sentience, but is also able to survive on its own. So I'd say you can still have an abortion. You can still remove the fetus from your body, but you would just do it without killing it, which we can take both hysterectomy abortions and induction abortions, and we can just retool those and we don't kill the fetus. Then abortion.
I don't disagree with you on that.
Okay, then you would agree.
That is a very good point, and I do agree. I guess I had it in my head that abortion was different than just removing the baby.
I define abortion, Harvard Medical School used to define it this way. They've changed recently with some policy, like some federal policy changes, so they can't define it this way anymore. But I define abortion as the removal of the contents of pregnancy from the womb. Whatever way you remove it is fine with me. But just medically, like removing the contents of pregnancy, I would consider an abortion. So I can say that abortion is justified throughout the entirety of the pregnancy, because after 24 weeks, we just remove it, without killing it. Now, prior to 24 weeks, when the fetus is not sentient, because it is not sentient, I don't view any harm being done to this creature, right? Like you wouldn't think cutting up a cadaver whose brain is dead is a bad thing, right? Like the fetuses. So when I now look at abortion in the pre-24 weeks, what I look is to see, okay, now we have two creatures, one of whom is sentient, one of whom is not. I will always place the moral justification on the sentient creature, because the sentient creature can experience negative things, whereas the non-sentient creature can't. So I'm going to always say that a sentient creature removing a non-sentient creature is always going to be justified, because their preferences as a sentient being come over the non-sentient being's preferences 100% of the time. Because the non-sentient being can't have preferences. It's not sentient.
And I guess I do agree with that. I guess I didn't necessarily think of that term in that way.
Well, then if you agree with that, and you agree with what I said before, then here we are at the 25-minute mark. You are somebody who is not only pro-choice, but you are pro-choice throughout the entire pregnancy.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, W. Raiden.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was good talking to you. You have a good rest of your day.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching this video, and I want to give a special shout out to my YouTube members. Their names are on the side. Membership starts at $2.99 a month, and you get early access to videos, exclusive members-only videos, and access to the Red Mirror Media Discord server. Thank you again to my members, and thanks for watching.